I've had multiple people reach out, including my own students, go, you know what? I think I just want to quit. I'm ready to quit. I think I might just do it. And trust me, I know that feeling. I know what it's like to just go walk down that hallway, bored as hell at work, going, oh my God, I'm gonna be here for another 10 years, 20 years. And that feeling of just like inevitability and absolute dissatisfaction, that's the thing that just gnaws at you every day you go to work. Maybe that's why you're watching this video, sitting in the bathroom going, why am I watching YouTube in the bathroom? I don't know, because I'm not happy. That's probably why. I've been there too. I've watched the videos in the same spot you're probably watching.
What are you watching?
Listen, it's hard to stay focused on a job that's not gonna help you build a real retirement. And part of you knows there's a path of life that could be better for you. So let's talk about it. When is the best time to quit your job and move on to rental real estate? Airbnb is the current sexy, shiny object that's in the room, right? When it comes to the investing conversations, all the articles, everyone's talking about Airbnb, short-term this, mid-term that, all great stuff. But the issue is most people aren't executing at a high level. They're presuming that just by adding a furnished element to a rental, they can be successful, but it's not quite that simple. You still need to know how to market the property, how to design it effectively, and how to manage it properly. Oh yeah, and the obvious part, way higher income than long-term rentals. I'd say on average, most people do at least 3x the net income of what the long-term rental would have been, should the long-term rental even be profitable. So year to date, we were just checking our numbers 2 days ago. We're at about 1.1 million generated this year. Obviously the year's not over. We're hoping to break 1.2, which is pretty much what we predicted about 9 months ago. And it's awesome. You know, that doesn't mean you make that much money. You still have mortgages. Sometimes you have partners and splits to pay out. But whatever it is, we've gotten really good at setting these things up for both us and our clients. Honestly, it's pretty doable for a lot of other people. I'm not saying you're going to do $1 million in gross revenue on Airbnb, but it is likely that you can get your first property to make $2,500 of net income per month. That is a very normal average that a lot of my friends, including myself, have reported across the nation. I've talked to literally hundreds of STR operators, including midterm rental operators. Now, the truth is, because some of us have gotten so sharp at what we're doing, a lot of us are starting to average closer to $3,000 to $5,000 of net income per month. So obviously you can see this is a very attractive factor. If you can buy one property that does that and it's 3 to 10x the same amount of income that the long-term rental would have done, of course you're going to want to switch. That's why a lot of my students, a lot of my clients are going, hey Matt, set me up with a short-term rental. I want in. So listen, you're probably thinking, how do I get started with my first Airbnb? That's exactly what I thought. And for me, it was a transition from a long-term rental into a short-term rental. Yes, I had a tenant move out. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and furnish this thing and see how it does. Truth is, I set it up like crap. It was ugly. I'm so lucky I even made it. But it did start making about $1,000 of net income. And I was only making about $300 of net income per month with my previous long-term tenant. So yeah, the first one wasn't crazy. It wasn't that wonderful. It was way more profitable than it was as a long-term rental, but this wasn't enough to necessarily quit my day job, right? This was enough for me to go, if I had 10 of these, that might be $10,000 of net income per month. Maybe I should keep going this path. That's exactly what I did. But here's the difference. As I got better and I started paying more attention to design and managing at a higher level, and even like making better choices with the furnishing and picking better houses that could accommodate more things and provide more amenities, my net income per property started to go up. My next property was making between $2,000 to $3,000 a month in net income. My third property, I took a little step back. It was only making about $2,000 per month, but now I have a property that 31 Airbnbs later made $77,000 in 2 months, which is absurd. Our holding costs are about $7,000 a month. Pretty good, wouldn't you say? 70,000 net profit in 2 months. Okay, let's say you have your operation already set up. You've got somebody handling all of your communication on the Airbnb platform, and you have your cleaners all situated, you have your handyman. Everything's going pretty easy, pretty smooth. You only have 2 or 3 properties. It's nothing too crazy. This is a very manageable weekly load of work, I promise you. Honestly, you're probably just in a supervisory mode. You're handling anything that are kind of odd, and your busiest days are gonna be check-in and turnover days. That's how it is. You know, while they're there, that's not usually bad. Usually the first day of check-in is kind of annoying. Sometimes they're trying to figure out how to work work the thermostat. They're trying to figure out how to work the TV. Gladys is asking you how to use the Roku TV because you can't find Fox or CNN on the cable stations. Why? Because most of our TVs are what? They're all app-based now. So that's been a little bit different. Big pro tip, use the Samsung TVs. They have this cool mimicked built-in cable function. So it's pulling a lot of channels from all over and it makes it look like you have cable. That's what I do to fight off the Gladyses of my life. And honestly, I would say you only have a few hours of work of monitoring per week. It's not like you're gonna be on your phone at work trying to balance out your main day-to-day job. Now, here's what sucks. We just had this in one of our properties, and mind you, this is one of 70 between what we own and manage. And on that property, we had I think it was almost a 7-month midterm stay, and everything seemed to be going well. We had a responsive client, we had an excellent payout, and what happened at turnover? They found out the blinds were destroyed. They ended up having dogs there that literally ate the walls, pooped and peed all over the house, and guess what? They had a baby in there the whole time. I thought it was extremely messed up that these adults would conduct themselves like that, especially with a baby in the house. But hey, that's people. People will surprise you. That's probably the worst thing I've experienced, but I can tell you this, out of 70 properties that we are dealing with between management and owned, we see an issue maybe once a month. Now, that's a percentage of what all that is. That's not too bad. You're gonna have an occasional toilet that gets clogged. You're gonna have some people wondering, again, how do you use the TV? How do you use the thermostat? That's probably the basic stuff. But over time, you learn how to instruct your VAs or whoever's handling all your communication, how to troubleshoot that with the client so that they can be a little bit more self-sufficient and give you your time back. Because that's what this is about, getting more money in your pocket and more time for you and your family. Okay, guys, this is the #1 philosophical question we are all trying to answer for ourselves and maybe even for others like me right now. So when people consult me about buying properties or being a student within our mastermind coaching, this comes up probably 30 to 40% of the time. Now, everybody wants to know, when should I finally quit my job? And for me, I definitely recommend maybe you don't quit. I know it's kind of rude, but I recommend actually slow quitting. Slow quitting is effectively waiting to get fired. Maybe that sounds ethically challenged to you, but I'm being serious. And here's why. Because when you constantly think about quitting every single day, that's gonna really gnaw at you psychologically. You're gonna only be thinking about quitting. You're gonna be thinking, F this guy, F my manager, F this job, they don't appreciate me any f***ing way. I'm so sick of every thing. I don't wanna drive here, F this traffic, F my coffee, F my gas station, everything. All you're thinking about, nonstop F-bombs when you are mad. And that's exactly what one of my mentees was telling me on Monday, because he told me last week he was ready to quit. And I was like, you know what? I feel that. I remember that. And I told him the story of when I was at my job, walking the hallways, knowing I got the golden handcuffs. I'm going to be here for another 10 years. And I know I'm going to be unhappy. And I was so pissed. I was almost depressed that I would have these first world problems, like I'm some type of jackass for being so unhappy. Maybe you can relate to that, because my family, they never really had jobs the way I was making money. And I was there. I was in a job that most people would kill for. One of my mentees is in a job that most people would kill for, because most people don't get those opportunities to make that level of money. But guess what? You can be unhappy even when you're making great freaking money. And you know what? That's okay. Because what you're also identifying is you need something different. And it's okay to admit that, and it's tough to admit it out loud, but it's not your job's fault. It's not the gas guy. It's not the traffic. It's the fact that you chose something that you are still unhappy with and you haven't made any changes. So what do you do? This is the philosophical moment, right? What do you do? My recommendation is, again, we're gonna slow quit. You're gonna start focusing all of your energy and all of that extra thought that you would put into being mad at your job or mad about something that's going on at work. You start focusing on that new business that you've been wanting to build. Probably is going to be rentals. A lot of people want rental real estate, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, whatever. But start by engaging in a community that's going to support that mindset. Problem is, the reason why you probably haven't made any moves is because you're probably still thinking in a silo. You are alone. You are quietly pining, bouncing the same ideas against the same wall of your brain that you've been doing probably for years. You got to break that habit. Once you start breaking that habit by introducing new interests, those new interests, once you start really following up on them, will become new habits. And from there, before you know it, it becomes just who you are. It becomes the essence of your being. And what I'm hoping for my students, and exactly what I did, was I started to build that portfolio. I built that business. And before I knew it, I was in a position where I could say, you know what, I'm ready to quit. But some of us are just going to be able to wait until we're fired. Milk that paycheck till they hate you because they know you're not that focused and you don't care. They're going to fire you anyway, because no big business really cares about you. Once you're on the ground, they're like, okay, we have a position to fill. That's really what the business thinks, because the business is not a person. It is is an entity. That's the difference. Your manager may miss you, but your manager has a job to do too. So remember, let's not be mad at our job. Let's not be mad at our career. Let's be mad at ourselves. Let's turn inside. Let's do some extreme ownership. And from there, all you need to do is replace that number that you need to provide for you or your family to make sure that your life can still move effectively. A lot of people say, hey, you know what? I want to make $10,000 in passive income. My next response to them is, hey, that's great. My job is to make sure you're thinking about doubling it, because you might replace that money, but you don't replace it to stop there, because you still need money to continue to invest, because you're probably going to find more businesses or more homes that you want to acquire. So you don't need to hit 20,000, no. But I think somewhere after 10,000, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm in a really good spot. And maybe you don't mind your job so much. Maybe you're not as mad, because what else happened? You started focusing on a path that you knew you wanted to walk, and you executed, and you're getting all the returns from it. So all that being said, that's my long philosophical answer to when you should quit your job. As a recap, don't be so focused on quitting. Be focused on realigning what your interests are to make sure you are living the life you want. And secondly, if you can, stay with the job as long as you can, but simultaneously fill a matching amount of passive income up to match exactly where your job is, so it's a lot more comfortable. And if you can last a little bit longer, go ahead and double that so you have even more money to invest in your future. So I have a question for you now. How many Airbnbs do you think you're going to need to buy to make sure that you can replace your current income at your W-2? How many do you want to buy? What is going to be your focus? Are you going to do vacation rentals short term? What is it? And if you want to see a video where I answer more of my students' questions, click this video here. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, I would really appreciate a like, subscribe, and a comment. Thanks. See you in the next one.